I've bought a lot of dumb stuff over the years. Some purchases were stupider than others, and now seems like as good a time as any to go over 5 semi-recent dumb purchases that I've made and to see how much money I've wasted. So my 5th dumbest or 5th most useless purchase of the past few years is definitely this. My Sony 135 f1.8 right here. Now this cost me $2,600. I know what you're thinking. It's not $2,600, but I lived in Iceland. I have to buy stuff in Iceland, so it's more expensive. It's my most expensive lens, yet it's also my least used lens. And for the past few years, it's essentially just been gathering dust up on my shelf. The thing is, I just don't like shooting with longer lenses. I prefer shooting with lenses in between 35 and 85 millimeters. And if I absolutely need to shoot with a longer lens, I prefer to use a variable zoom, like a 70 to 200, a 200 to 600, or even my favorite, the 35 to 150. So I really don't have any use for this lens. But I do want to try to use it more because it is a sharp and just overall fantastic lens. But otherwise I'll just sell it or something. So whatever, it's not the stupidest purchase in the world, so it's fine. My 4th dumbest purchase was definitely my drone. Initially, I justified the purchase by saying that I would use it for client shoots, you know, that eventually it would pay itself off because now I can offer these services, blah, blah, blah. But in hindsight, looking back at it, it was definitely just an excuse to get a drone because I just wanted one. I mean, it's not completely useless. I use it a lot when I travel, especially, you know, back home in Iceland. But I don't think I've ever actually used it for a client project, so I can't say that it's paid itself off. It is pretty much just a fancy toy and a pretty dumb waste of $3,500, but hey, at least I get some pretty wallpapers, right? Purchase number 3 is this thing right here, the SmallRig mini matte box, and I also bought like this Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter on the front end of it. Now, sticking one of these on the front end of your camera does make it look more professional, right? I mean, having this on the front looks pro, and it is definitely a good move to look more pro in front of your clients. You know, you can charge more money and whatever. But other than that, this is absolutely useless to me. I also just don't like having these big, expensive filters on the front of my camera. I mean, if I want to adjust my variable ND filter within the matte box, I have to take the filter halfway off, cram my finger in there and try to twist it. And it's just very uncomfortable and clunky and just extremely unnecessary for me and a big waste of $700. This right here is the SmallRig Magic FIZ. And this was a particularly stupid purchase because I didn't research it at all beforehand. So I just bought it kind of on an impulse, on a whim. And turns out, after I came home, when I tried it out, just doesn't work with my lenses. First of all, the motors aren't strong enough to zoom in or out of my lenses, which is the entire point of why I bought this thing. And second of all of my lenses are focused by wire or have like this electronic focus ring with non-linear focusing, which makes this entire thing useless. And even if it would have worked with my lenses, it just makes my camera rig bulky and big, and it just adds wires and batteries, and that's really just not my style. I really do prefer a smaller, sleeker camera rig with, you know, the less wires, the better. And I also like to power as much as I can through just a single battery, just for simplicity and efficiency. I also just want to have as few types of batteries as possible, but the handle takes Canon batteries, and that's all just a huge pain in the ass, and I don't want to have to deal with that. But in my opinion, this has to be my most useless waste of money, or my most reckless waste of money. And that are these big 6 to 8 terabyte drives. I worked at a production company from 2017 to 2022, and there we stored everything on NAS drives. And what little photos and videos I took in my personal time, in my personal life, I just stored on hard drives, and you know, that was fine. And then in 2022, I became independent, and I kept buying these 6, 8 terabyte drives and kept telling myself that I don't need a NAS drive just yet, it's fine. And by the end of last year, 2023, I had like 4, 5, 6 huge hard drives into which all of my footage that I have shot over the past 3 or 4 years, my personal footage, my trips, my personal client work, was just haphazardly divided into, with no storage system, file system, with nothing, just dumped in there and forgotten about. And I have had hard drives corrupt or get damaged, or just, shit happens, Luckily, with nothing important or with nothing of value to me. So I just spent the last few months of last year just stressing out about potentially losing footage, and also just dealing with the headache of having to go through many hard drives trying to find the footage that I want. So this Christmas, I gave myself a NAS drive. I went over most of my old hard drives. I deleted stuff that I didn't want. I deleted multiples. I deleted like super old client stuff. And all of the rest, all of my family photos, all of my recent client stuff goes right in here, where it's securely stored, protected, monitored 24/7. To be honest, I don't know why it took me so long to get a proper storage solution for all of my important photos, all of my important files, my documents, my videos, my client work. I'm lucky that nothing happened to my data, and the price of a NAS drive is absolutely nothing if you take into account just the peace of mind that you have that all of your data is secure. So don't be stupid like me. Invest in proper data storage, whether that be a NAS drive, some cloud storage, multiple hard drives so you keep multiple copies of it. I don't know, just keep your data safe. Don't fuck around, because you might find out. So if I add it all up, that is about $8,700 of wasted money. I wish I could say that I'm not gonna waste as much money, but knowing me, I'm probably gonna continue to make stupid purchases, but hey, whatever. Live and you learn. Bye.